Let me know if you agree with this. Not like Luna cares because she's secure, but let me. This is a woman of color saying that timeout works better. This is very rare. She said, when I used to get hit, oh, no, she said, when I used to hit them, it did not work. Now, a lot of people agree with that. Sometimes I even feel like that. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I feel like, yo, hitting don't work. All you doing is making them tough than a motherfucker. All you do is training them how to take a punch or to duck a punch. You know? Big Marsh once said, I used to have to break a switch from the tree. Oh, you old school. You definitely from the West Indies, or your parents is from out there. That's the facts. You know what I'm saying? Danny said switch. Oh shit. Chancletas, cord, fist, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Big Marsh said broom. I used to get the broom too because my mother was big on cleaning. Like, for some reason, cleaning was therapeutic. So she had a broom in her hand, or she had like a bottle of Mistolin or some shit. And she would use that shit. Or some like kung fu fighting. You know what I mean? That's how I get to. You see all that shoulder rolling I be showing y'all shit? That's from my dukes. You know what I'm saying? That's from my moms. That's not from the streets. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. Luna Thick Boom said, hitting leaves psychological marks. That's another good point, which I'm going to get into later. Now, let me ask you something on that. Luna, let me ask you on something on that. Do you find that most people of color, especially maybe from the West Indies, or maybe not especially, just people of color in general, do you think that we're quicker to hit and we don't really think about the psychological effects to it? Do you think hitting is ever called for? You know, Luna also said it affects their self-esteem. Hey, Trinity, what's good? Big Mar said, I got beat, but I don't beat my daughter. But why is that, though? You think beatings don't work? How y'all feel about timeouts? You think timeouts work? Here's an example. This is why I even bring it up. White people, my Caucasian brothers and sisters, right? They're known, I don't know if it's justified or not, but they're known to give their kids timeout, right? Billy stay on timeout. Susie stay on timeout. And I don't know why I choose Billy and Susie, because I know a black Billy and I know a black Susie. But Billy is really William and Susie's really Suzette. But whatever, it's cultural, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But William and Suzette stay on timeout. But then they grow up and blow shit up. And I'm not saying it's all like that. I'm saying when you hear about people blowing shit up, or when you hear about people going up in the classroom, or they go into school and fucking shit up, or they go to the post office and fuck shit up, it don't be certain people. It be other people. And those people used to get timeouts. You know what I'm saying? Do you think hitting is a more appropriate form of punishment to keep your kid in line, or just to give your kid certain structure? You know what I mean? Somebody get at me. Danny said, I put my daughter on timeout, but my boys get fucked up. What's the difference though? Why treat them differently? Don't you think that causes some sort of division in the house? Don't you think that would cause like some sort of separation? Like now the boys is looking at her differently, or the girls is looking at them differently. Like, yo, I could really do whatever because I'm not gonna get hit. You might take my phone away, and I probably can't go to the bashment over the weekend, but I'm cool on that as long as you don't tump me up. Now the dudes is probably looking at the girl like, damn, she don't never get in trouble. Cause let me keep it real. Again, I have two 11-year-olds, right? Literally a month apart. And the funny thing is, he always feel like he always get in trouble. It's really not he always get in trouble. He always gets spoken to. Because me, I speak a lot. Before I grab them up, and listen, for all of my Child Protective Services viewers, my DIFUS viewers, this is all imaginary. Okay? This is all you know, theoretical. But theoretically, when I grab up my son, he feel like, oh, you don't never grab her up. But I'm like, what I look like grabbing up an 11-year-old girl? You know what I'm saying? But I know that it's causing a certain division and an animosity towards one another. You know what I'm saying? How do you fix that, Danny? How do you even fix that? Danny said, you have to be careful not to hit them when you're angry. That shit is almost impossible. Because if I hit somebody when I'm not angry, it's like tickling them. If I don't feel a way, like I never understood that. I never understood don't hit them when you're angry. That's like the offense happening and 2 hours later you're like, listen, I gotta give you this spanking. I know I really don't want to. Listen, no, I'm not mad at you. No, I'm not. But I gotta give you this spanking. I don't have that in me. Because after that, I'll talk to them until they cry. You know what I'm saying? I'll hurt them psychologically. You know? What the fuck, are you retarded? You can't behave yourself? What happened to your self-control? All that shit. Same shit I used to hear. You know what I'm saying? So I never understood it. I never understood that. Big Marsh 1 said, ask Danny baby why she hit the boys and not the girl. My kid's 13 years apart, but I did hit my son and I don't hit my girl. That's what I'm saying. Like it's a thin line, and I think sometimes that causes some sort of division sometimes, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? I think there's a division. Like they start to look at each other in a very funny sort of way. Like they start to resent each other. Like, yo, mom treat her different or whatever. You know how kids talk. Kids is quick to tell you shit ain't fair and all that other bullshit. Because nothing is fair to them unless they getting something. You know what I mean? If they're not getting nothing, then, you know, that's just what I'm saying. Like, it's just very difficult to, especially with boys and girls. With a boy and a girl, they expect you to treat the both of them the same, but you can't. Especially if you're giving out punishment. If your punishment, however, is timeouts, and your punishment is just, you know, grounding them, then that's different. But if your punishment is you know, spankings and all that, it almost leaves you in a funny spot. It almost leaves you in a funny spot. You know what I'm saying? Hey Cindy, what's good? Cindy said everyone can catch these hands in my house. That's how I see it. We boxing. It's fight night. And the funny shit is the shit trickling down too. Like if you just happen to be in the room while somebody in trouble, you in trouble, my nigga. My pops always told me, yo, if you in a car with a person who got a gun and it's 5 of y'all in the car and one person got the gun and the cops pull you over, guess what? 5 of y'all niggas going to jail. That's how I see it. In my house, if you in trouble and somebody in the room, they in trouble too. If somebody come out there like, hey, what's going on? Let me show you what's going on out this motherfucker. You in trouble too. Okay? So that's how I'm looking at it. That's how I see it. You feel me? Nina Rose said, I feel like you should explain to them why they are being punished. Don't just whoop the kids and don't tell them why. Because that causes confusion. That causes confusion and just teaches violence and anger or fear. That's a good point. That's a good point. That's a good point. That's a really good point. Danny said, Miss Danny Baby said, my daughter's personality doesn't require it. She cries if you yell at her. The boys require physical. Oh, okay. Shit, I hear that. I thought that too. Like growing up, you could say certain things to hurt me quicker than punching me and thumping me up because I could take it. You know what I mean? Me and my sister actually. Like we took it. And I think for me personally, what hurt me was my mother being emotional. Like, oh, you know, he's out of control. Not that I was out of control, but she'd be on some shit like, yo, I just don't know what to do. You know? And if your mother West Indian like my mother, you know what I'm saying? They could be very dramatic. They could hit you with that drama. And you could feel like, damn, I'm a no good son. You know? Look what I'm doing to my poor little mother. You know what I mean? Yeah, she hit me with the broomstick, but she got it right, you know? So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if boys deserve the physical because they're boys. However, I mean, that's kind of like how it would go in my house, to be honest. Hypothetically and theoretically, of course, Child Protective Services and DIFUS. Kimberly said, Every kid has to be disciplined differently. My 15-year-old boy has never been spanked or put in a timeout. All I ever had to do was raise my voice and he got in line. Then I got this 2-year-old little girl that is already getting yoked up, and she looks at me like she ready to square up with me. I put her in timeout in the corner and she fucks the corner up. She a G. That's why you got yourself a G out there. You know what I mean? Yahida. I think that I'm pronouncing it correctly. If I'm wrong, let me know though. Yahida said, I was raised with my mother busting my ass. Timeouts is when they're young. As they get older, they can get the hands, and if they ever try to raise their hand to me, I'm using whatever's in my presence. Yo, that's what my mother told me. My mother told me one day, you know what's funny, man? I didn't really even give trouble like that, but one day, me and my mother arguing. Can you imagine? She's saying something to me. We wasn't even arguing. She didn't like something I did or some shit. It'd be so small, like I didn't do the dishes or some shit, and she going off, right? And I'm 17. And I'm smelling myself, you know what I'm saying? And I must have said some shit like, yo, shut up already. Thank you. I must have said some shit like, shut up already. And she punched me, right? And she left-handed. And so you don't really see the left coming all the time, because she throws shit unorganized.